I've had lots of lovely comments on my videos. Well, some not so lovely, but you know, you accept that. And one of them was, what's your history? How did you come to faceting? Tell me about you. You asked for it, here we go. I live in the UK, particularly the West Country, and you can see the scenery where I live. I'm very, very happy, and it's in a little place called Portishead, just outside of Bristol. This is Karen, my wife, the chief pixie, the boss, she who must be obeyed. That good looking chap is me, slim, fantastic looks. And this is Mum and Dad, who have recently moved in with us because they're not so well. And would you believe this is them at their 65th wedding anniversary having a blessing. And these two my wife clearly loves more than me, but we won't go into that. I was born in 1960 and instantly Mum and Dad got very bored and decided they were going to go to India to help out with the church missionary work over there. So for me, 1963 to 1974 until I was 14 was a great adventure. We lived in beautiful Bangalore, which is now a huge metropolis of a place. It wasn't back then. Dad, who's a qualified minister, is also a qualified explosives expert. He went around blasting boreholes to produce wells. That's the machine he used. He is also an architect and designed Bangalore's first sort of multi-storey shopping mall that provided money to help with the work of the church and feeding the poor and digging the wells and all that sort of thing. In the meanwhile, us kids were shipped off to boarding school in the Nilgiri Hills. We went to Lushington Boys School, boarding school, very strict. Cane everywhere, 6 of the best for talking after lights out and all that sort of thing. But I tell you what, we were pretty much in the middle of up in the Nilgiri Hills, just beyond the jungle, and it was a hell of an adventure for us. Great time. For the young amongst you wondering what the hell this fashion is, it's a tie-dye shirt and bell bottoms. I miss the 70s, and look at me proudly displaying my first Timex watch for all to see. Anyway, 74, 75, back in the UK for good. That's me on the left with all the hair. I miss hair. I don't have any anymore, but there we go. That is a sponsored hair loss choice, not a medical thing. Continued my education in the UK in a comprehensive school, Speedwell School in Kingswood. That was a hell of a lot different from the boarding school in South India. I came to this country with a sort of posh Anglo-Indian accent, so I was very strange, a white chap with a posh Anglo-Indian accent, having been to a boarding school, going to a comprehensive school. As you can imagine, I stood out like a sore thumb and spent lots of time being beaten up, but there we go, that's life. So after school I went and did an apprenticeship and a HND or C in mechanical and production engineering at Europumps, in a town called Yates near Bristol. It was sold to me that I'd be looking after oil pumps and servicing huge pumps and rewiring huge pumps. After the second year of spending most of my time down sewers working on sewer pumps, I thought, nah, this wasn't what was sold to me, so I got out. Somebody said to me, why don't you go sell cars? They make lots of money. So I did. Put on my best suit and went for an interview. Started with Citroën, that were very quirky back then, and then went on to Fiat, which rusted as soon as they came off the boat, and then went to work at Avon Motor Centre, a lovely little garage in Nailsea, where I spent many years with Vauxhall, learning a lot from that franchise. For a few years I was the sales manager of 2 Vauxhall garages, one in Bridgewater, one in Taunton. Then it was taken over and I didn't get on particularly well with the new boss man, so I went to Renault just to sell cars. It was a lovely little company called Clist and Rattle, strange name for a garage, but there we go. And they also had a Skoda franchise. They got taken over by a larger group which were a lot stricter and more interesting to work with, targets and meetings every day. And after about 25-30 years of this industry, it took its toll, and it's a hard industry. And I had a heart attack aged 48. So I carried on in the motor industry anyway for several more years. Managed to pay off the mortgage, get rid of all debts, and I was sort of free. But twinges in the chest and all that sort of thing, my chief pixie, my lovely wife, then insisted it's time to get out. So I totally changed my career at an older age and went to work for MHA as a maintenance man at a retirement facility, looking after older folk, or rather looking after the building that they're in. And that has been a great job, which I've been in for several years now, of which I'm about to retire from. So at last I'd taken my father's advice after spending many years in a target-driven environment. He said, "Mark, you must develop the solid factor and enjoy life." So I did, and this is when the slightly nicer job and the hobbies began. And the first one was a friend of mine had an old sports car in a hedge, a little Mazda, and he let me have it, and I renovated it and built it. I then went on to ride several motorbikes and also renovate this lovely machine, which I put on a YouTube channel called Mark's Motorcycle Shed, which got loads and loads of likes, and I think it's got well over about 1,000 or 1,100 people who subscribed. So people enjoy it and they still comment on it. And then after this point, when my wife said, "Mark, you're too old to go on motorbikes," I sold it and bought a faceting machine. So as you can see, my faceting started not with a career choice, but with a means of relaxation with a new hobby. And it's one of those hobbies where even if you make a mistake and put a facet in the wrong place, you can always turn what was a faceted stone into a cabochon, and some of those turn out better than a faceted stone. And when I finish the stone, I always take it in to show my lovely residents, and they're always enthralled to see what I can do with these things. And you know what people think of gems, their value, their beauty. Well, the fact that you can do this in your own home amazes people, and it is so rewarding. So that's it, the story of my faceting career, as it were. I will carry on faceting now that I've got an awful lot more time, because in precisely a week I finish work and am a man of leisure. So I will only do what my wife tells me I've got to do, and after that I'll facet stones. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like, comment, and let me know what else you'd like me to facet, or any particular shapes, and I'll do that for you. Thanks for watching. The next video is about something all of us faceters face, especially as amateur faceters, because we don't particularly know sometimes what's real and what isn't. I have at last found a source of genuine gems, and I'll tell you all about that source and start faceting their stones and see how they come out. It's something I've wished somebody would do a video about, you know, where can you get honest to goodness faceting rough. Anyway, look forward to doing that. See you soon.